This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining today's session. Yesterday, we were talking about assignment as an assessment. Today, we are going to talk about HTML5 interactive uh, material or content that you can use for assessment. We are slightly behind the schedule because yesterday I could not cover the second topic. As you know, the contents that I need to cover sometime can be very lengthy and will need more time. So I'll try to cover the topics within the scheduled time, but today I'm not going to talk about quiz, an active quiz, which was in the schedule. I'm just going to discuss HTML interactive content that I had planned for yesterday. And regarding the Turnitin assignment, I will put it in the list at number 10, and we will do that when that comes. So once more, thank you for joining. I hope you can hear my voice loud and clear, and the screen is very much available to you. Let's start. So as you can see my screen right here, this is one of my course, and I'm inside the course right now. So I'm just going to show you what HTML5 interactive content actually mean and what you can do with it. First, you just need to see what you can do with it, and then I'm going to show you how you can create it. I'm going to talk about video contents and slide today. There are, however, other options as well that needs obviously more elaborate explanation gradually item by item. So we will figure that out later, but today I'm going to talk about video contents and slide as an interactive content for your course. Now, where there is interactivity, you know that you have the opportunity to talk to your students or ask your students questions, and your students can respond to your questions just like you do in a regular classroom, where you have lectures, and within the lectures what happens is sometimes you try to check the learning of your students by asking questions to them, and they respond immediately. The same you can do online if you have the utility of HTML5 content making access. Luckily, we have installed this feature in Moodle, and I'm going to show you now. Let's see what it looks like. So here is one of my topic. You can see this looks like a very simple activity. It is actually a page activity from Moodle, but I have inserted HTML interactive content inside it. So let's see how it works and how we can actually make sure that we can assess our students. Now, let me tell you, before you actually uh, we go deep into this, assessment, as I told before in the last webinar, that is, uh, it doesn't have to be summative all the time. It can also be formative. That means these are assessments that you can do during the classroom activities. And for summative assessments, obviously, you have to go deep into your course syllabi and find out how you actually want to measure the learnings of your students. Is it the quiz, or is it the exam? Is it the assignment? So based on that, you choose the activity in Moodle. Today, here, this is a lecture slide, and it helps you do the assessment as an asynchronous assessment. So what happens is you don't have to be physically there. If you have a ready video recorded lecture or a slide presentation of your own, you can upload that with some questions in it, and the questions will pop up automatically for the students, without answering which they cannot proceed. So this is an interactivity which you can enable for your students to do at their own pace and at their own time, and you are not there, obviously, physically and even online. So let's proceed through this. I will request everybody to please turn off your microphone for now. Uh, Once I finish, I will definitely give you the floor and we can discuss your issues and your doubts. Now, as I said, this is HTML5. Generally, we call it H5P, and this is actually a paid service, but luckily you have a trial version, and it's easy for you to get access to the trial version, and you can create lots of activities within the trial version, and you can use them in Moodle directly by linking them or even creating them inside Moodle itself. So I'm going to first show you how it works, and then I'll show you everything else. So if you see, this is my slide, and first slide is the front page, and the topic is simple present tense, and I have my little introduction there. And then after that, if I, as a student, what I should do is I should click the second slide or third slide, and this is how I will proceed and I will progress. But you can also click this arrow that says next slide, so I can also proceed. And
the screen is hanged.
excuse me,
Screen is hanged. It's paused. It's not moving.
screen is paused. Is it clear now? Can you see? Hello?
Now you have a screen.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for making sure that the screen is visible. So as I was saying, this is one of my course, and I'm inside the course. I'm going to click a content that I've created using HTML5 interactive content making app. So I click the first one, simple present tense, and you will notice here it is simple present tense, and I'm using the trial version. You see, I'm trying out HTML5. Good news is you can keep adding materials here in trial version. They give you this alternative to do so, but they have obviously a certain period. For now, I've been using it over a month, and still I'm able to use it without any problem. However, as I told before, it's a paid version. We need to, obviously, at the finance division will definitely propose once you find the utility of this, and definitely will propose to the finance division to purchase it for us. But for now, just go ahead and see. Now, as I was saying before, and you did not have the screen at the time, we can progress through this slide. This is a slide presentation by clicking these bars at the bottom. You see slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, and so on. And you can also click this arrow here, next slide, and you can progress through this slide presentation. So this is an activity that your students do at their own pace, at their own time, and at their own comfort, and from anywhere. And as a teacher, I don't have to be present in the classroom or live. So let's see the second slide. I have the overview of what I'm going to cover during this lesson. And slide number 3, I have given them a small definition of a terminology, grammar morpheme. So you have simple present tense, what it is. After this, I want to make sure that my students have understood the topic. And I'm not there physically to make sure that I can get the feedback from my students. But I can give an opportunity to my students within the slide to ask them that question which I want to ask. So you see, as they progress to slide number 4, they get a question, and this question pops up. They cannot go to the next slide unless they finish answering this question. They can always go back, but not forward. So this is one way of assessing the learning immediately during the lessons and immediately after one content that you have finished. So what is the simple present tense? Maybe the student will choose the first one, and you see you have the option here, click check, and you will notice it gives you the direct feedback that I had fed it in. You see, well done, and you get 1 out of 1. So the answer is clear to the student. The question I needed to ask my student is also clear, and the best part is it is motivating the student. Student can see that the student has succeeded in understanding the topic. This is just one question, but if now I can proceed to slide number 4 or 5. I have this explanation done here, but I want to make sure that I ask some questions to find out my student has understood. Now, if you notice in slide number 4, I have a multiple choice question, but in slide number 6, I have fill in the gaps. So you can also do fill in the gaps. You can do drag and drop. There are many, in fact, all the types of questions that you have created in quiz within Moodle, you can do those here. So let's say I'm going to write some answers and show you how it works. Express habits and repeated actions. This is what, as a student, somebody would be filling in. We also express unchanging situations and emotions. We give instructions. Moreover, we can express. I'm going to write purposefully, I'm going to write a wrong answer so that you know what is happening. So I'm going to say something like this. Now, if I press check as a student, I should be shown the answers, and then obviously what is correct and what is not correct. And you can see here, it shows the student how much the student has scored out of 6, because there were 6 gaps to be filled in. And for all the correct ones, you have the green mark and the tick mark, but one that is wrong, you have a cross mark here with the red. And the best part is you have the opportunity to retry, because the ultimate goal of this kind of assessment is to make sure the student learn by doing its activity, so by following the lecture as well. So you should give the student the chance to retry, but there is an element. If you want, you can remove this option. You don't want to allow the student to have retry, you can do that. But other part which is also important here to notice is show solution. Some students might have problem and they're not able to maybe finish on time, they're struggling with the meaning and stuff, so they can get some extra help. This is what we do in the classroom as well. We tell our students, if you don't understand, let me explain to you one more time, and sometimes we even give them prompts to the correct answer. So this is one of the opportunity you can avail here as well. Show solution, and you see the answer is shown. The correct answer is fixed or temporary arrangements. So the student now has a learning from this, but you see the score will remain the same. However, if the student tries to redo it, the student gets another opportunity and he can fix his number. Remember, this assessment is not going to be recorded. This is going to stay as that. However, at the end, as a summary, you can get the summary from the students' work and attempts. Now I'm going to go to the 7th slide and the last one. So last one I have, you see, it's a different kind of question, and it is asking a true false question. So I'm showing you the variety of questions that you have within this activity, and you can do the same thing. Now I did not answer the question, so I'm going to answer the question. True, check, and I got the answer correct. So this is the summary, and if you go to the summary, I told you that you will get the response recorded and all the actions that the students take. You see at the end, it's a good summary. You can ask the student to take a snapshot and send you, and you know how much the student has learned from this section or lecture and how many scores he was able to score. So this is a slide presentation. Now I'm going to show you a video activity in what you call HTML5. Now the best part in HTML5 with the video is, you know, during the videos we have seen that there are universities or centers that are using online education. They have questions popping up during the video, and you can actually answer those questions. Without answering those questions, you cannot bypass and then watch the later ends of the video. So I have created similar activity using a video and an interactive interface there that will be popping up. So this is one of my lecture. You can see it's put in YouTube. Why I use YouTube is because YouTube gives you free access to put your files there. You don't have to publish them. You can always put them as private or unlisted, so nobody will see except who you want to. Now, okay, no, this is not it. Sorry, this is not it. Okay, here we are. This is the topic, and you can see I have a video. Again, thank you for trying H5. H5 means HTML5. So I'm just using the trial version. Now you notice here the small dots at the bottom. These are the dots where the questions will pop up. And notice if I click on this bar, generally if it's a video, you should be able to progress. You see, navigation is disabled. So why I have disabled this? Because I don't want my student to skip the lesson. I don't want my students to finish the video without listening to it and without watching it, because then there is no learning. It's like student gets into your classroom, sits for 5 minutes and then gets out. So that's why this video is, the navigation is disabled, so they have to press play and play all the way to the end. Now, I'm sorry you have to bear with me till this point, the point.
General Foundation Program. Center of Foundation Studies. University of Bahraini. All rights reserved. No part of this audio-visual lecture may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, without the prior written permission of the publisher. This lecture is brought to you by Mr. A.S.M.Shamim. Listen and learn about question forms. Read the following questions. 1. Is this your first day here in the university? 2. Are you happy today?
I'm sorry you have to bear with me because the navigation is
enjoy
disabled, all right?
4. Does Ali like the weather here in Bahraini? 5. Do they do their homework regularly? Notice that these questions only require a yes or no answer. We call them yes, no questions. In short, yes, no questions mean the answers are either yes or no.
Now the question will pop up because I have finished one initial part of this lesson. I have given them enough explanation about this. So that's why the question is popping up, because I've put it there. And you see during the video, I have this question popping up within the video. And because the navigation is, disabled, the student cannot bypass without answering this question. So the answer, whatever it is, we have to check. What is yes, no question? Is a question that explains, narrate, yes, no. So I'm going to choose number 3 and click yes, and it's going to ask you for the confirmation. Click finish, and you see the answer is correct. You get 1 out of 1, and look, you have a button that is telling you you can continue. So the navigation
Therefore,
now
the
continues.
first word
So
for
this
these
is how
present tense questions.
videos can be made interactive as well, and without actually being in the classroom directly asking your students questions, you can create videos which can assess the students' learning as well on its own. And at the end, you always have a summary, and the summary will tell you how much the student has learned from this. If the student has scored all the correct answers or not, you can see here. Answered question, only 1, because I did only 1 question here, and score is 1 out of 1. If you want to click this submit answers, then this will reach you over your email if you have provided the email. Now, I have shown you these 2 contents. If you have any questions, let's have some questions. 3 minutes time. After 3 minutes, I'm going to show you how to create this. So if you have any questions, anybody? No questions? All right, because there's no questions, it's good for us. We will proceed from here, and I'm going to show you how you can create this. First, I told you that this is a free version that I'm using, and I have actually registered for a free version here in this address. You see the address at the top? I'm going to write the address for you in the chat box so that you can also register for your free version if you need it. All right, so that in the chat box you have the link. I've put the link there. What happens is once you register for the free version, you will get the opportunity to try out HP5. You have your own account, and you can get inside your account. You can upload your photo and location. You see, I'm using this for over a month now, and I tried out, I created these activities within HP5, and they are stored in HP5. What I did is, after I created, I took the embedded code. At the bottom, immediately after the activity that you create, you have this thing called embed, and you can see here, embed. If you click this, you will get the code. You just have to copy this and paste it in Moodle, and I will show you how it's done. But let's create an HP5 activity. Now, all you have to do is click try out after you have got yourself a registered account. Click try out. Once you have clicked that, it will give you the option to choose what kind of activity you want to create as an interactive activity. You have plenty of them. You see interactive video you can create essay, you can create course presentation, you can create what you call accordion, a vertically expandable item. Then you can create a chart, collage, column, dialogue cards. You can create documentation tool, drag and drop words, fill in the blanks, find the hotspot, guess the answer. You know, these are some of the items which are listed. Even you can create quiz. You see, quiz questions can be created, questionnaire can be created, and timeline can be created, which are interactive. You can also create audio recorder. For the English teachers, I think this is useful. You can create this, and you can also create flashcards, speak the words, set something like that. These are very much free and available for anybody to use once you get registered with HP5. So let's start with the interactive video first. I'm going to create this, click this, and you will be taken to this page. Just like in Moodle, you know, you have to do certain settings before you have finished creating something. So what is the title? I'm going to say maybe demo, because this is demo. I hope my YouTube is on. Okay, so I'm going to get a video now. You can upload a video, you can see from here, you can upload, or if you have put a video on YouTube, you can get the link from YouTube. And I'm going to get a link from here. Let's say this is my video and this is the link. I will click copy video link and paste it here. Insert, and the video will be loaded. However, you have the opportunity to edit the copyright. Because this is your own material, you can write the what you call copyright yourself, so that nobody else can claim that it was created by them. And that's about it. So my copyright is done. I have inserted the video. I have to just click this button here, next step, add interactions. And if I click this, I'll be taken to the interface. Video is right here, it's loaded, and on the top you can see I have tools. Just like in Moodle, I can add these questions. You see, add statements, add single choice set of questions, multiple choice questions, true false questions, fill in the gaps, drag and drop, mark the word, drag text, crosswords, and navigation hotspot if you have any image to show, maybe maps or something. You can also create hyperlinks. You can create tables as well if you want to. You can insert text as well. So I'm just going to do 1 or 2 questions to show you how it works and how you can create. Now on this, I drag the spot where I want to add the video.
Some dedicated.
So maybe here, you see, maybe one content is finished. Just imagining a content is covered. I'm going to add a question right here, true or false. So when I click true or false, this is the page that appears. You can do 2 ways. First, display as button. Then the student has to click the button to access the question. But I prefer you create a poster. So what happens, it covers the entire length of the video for you, so they cannot bypass the video or they cannot see the text behind that poster. Now, title can be anything you choose. I will just give it a number 1. And the question is, when you click the question field, it's going to give you the text box. So I'm going to say, what is meant by WH? So this is my question, maybe, or no, because it's a true false question. Sorry. WH means words that begin with you main questions. All right. So I'm just going to write a simple statement here, and the answer should be true. If you want, you can choose false as well. It's up to you. But after this, you need to play with the behavioral setting. This is where you make sure the control factors. So show confirmation dialog on check. I want them to click check and get their response themselves. I also want to give them the opportunity to retry if they answer it wrong. I will not choose automatically check answer. If you choose automatically check answer, then this check option will not appear. After this, if you have any feedback, you can give them the feedback right here. For the correct answer, maybe well done, and for the wrong answer, sorry, keep trying. And that's done. I click done, and the first question is ready, and you can see this on my screen. I can drag and place it where I want. I can even enlarge the poster, and you see I'm trying to cover the background text and background image so that the student only sees the question and answer the question. Now once this is done, this is the first question I have created. I want to create another one, so I drag it where I want it. So maybe I want it before this. We use what? This is where maybe I can create one more question, and let's say it's going to be fill in the gap. And again, I will choose poster, and the title, question number 2, because it's the second question in the lesson. Now you have to see here how you can write the fill in the gap question. If you notice here, important instruction. This is for you as a teacher. When you create this content, you need to know how you should draft it, because there is a special way of drafting the question. So I'm going to show it to you right now. So my question is, we use, and then if you see here, it says blanks are added with static marks in the front and behind the question word. So I'm going to write a blank. So static mark is open, and the answer is, let's say, when, and the static mark is closed. This is the blank where they have to write when. But if I have another option, I can give them the option with what time, and then I finish it with the static mark, and after that I continue to finish the sentence. We use when to speak about time. All right, about specific time. Now the question is ready, the blanks are also ready, and you have the option here for your students as well. After this, we just go all the way down. You don't need to play with the range, but if you want, you can play with the range by setting from 1 to 10 or 10 to 15. It's up to you, but I leave it as blank because I want 100% out for this. Question behavior is what you need to play with. I will check show confirmation dialog on, and it's checked, and retry. After this, I will also accept minor spelling errors, because sometimes students do make spelling errors, and it's fine if they are very close to the correct answer. We can accept it. If you don't want to, leave it. Don't tick mark. I will just tick mark. After this, click done, and just like the one we did before, you see it's here on the screen, and you can drag it, and you can enlarge the poster, and you see here you have the question which is ready with a blank. After this, since our questions are ready, we have to finish, and in order to finish, you need to click this button here, summary task, or you can say save. Save is fine. So you click save at the bottom, but before you do that, you see here for the video you have the behavioral setting as well. So click behavioral setting, and you can choose here whether you want the video to play automatically or loop the video. Loop means play it again and again, over and over. Or you remember I had blocked the navigation, prevent skipping forward in a video. This is what I want to click because I don't want them to skip the video. And if they at all forget the answer, I want them to go back by 10 seconds only. That's all. I don't want them to go very far in the lesson and then watch it all over again. So this is how you can actually control the navigation of the video. Click save, and your video will be ready with the questions. So our video is ready. Demo is ready, and it is loading. You see the video is almost ready, and I have created 2 questions. You can see here the 2 dots. These are the places where the video will play. And if you remember, I have disabled the navigation, so you can see I cannot navigate until and unless I reach here. So I will not show those questions again, but I'm going to show you how you can use this HTML5 interactive video in your Moodle account. This is embed. Embed is a code, and this is what you need to click. Click this, and you can see here the code is already set for you. Now the size of the window, you need to play with this, because 10.1090 is a very wide screen, so it's better you put it just like in YouTube, a smaller resolution, and that would be like 640 and 380. So if you put it like this, then the window will be as big as the one you see in the background. So click this and Control C on your keyboard, or right click and copy, whichever is okay for you. You can right click and copy, or click this and Control C to copy it. Now our code is ready. We have to go to Moodle, and I'm going to create this here. What you can do is, again, just like typically when you want to create an activity, you need to turn on the editing feature. You see my editing feature is turned on. I can see add activity and resource. I'll click add activity and resource. I'll go all the way down because I want to add a resource, and that is a page. So after that, I'll click add, and the page is here. I'll give it a name. The name is demo HP5 video. If you have any instructions, you can write your instructions here, and this is where you see the red mark, exclamation mark. This means this is where you have to place it. So I'm going to click this, and this is giving me more tools to see. At the end, I have the HTML. You see this HTML? Click this, and then you see all the tools have gone gray. That means they are not available anymore. So what you do is paste it. Right click and paste the code that you had copied. And if you remember, we changed the resolution 640 and 680. It's also here. After this, you click HTML one more time, this icon, and you will notice your video will be loaded. You see the video is loaded. We click in the middle. I'm just putting it, aligned it in the middle, and after that, you don't need to play with any other things. Just save and display. Here you see the video is inside my course. I've created a page, demo HP5 video, and the video is right here, and I have those questions here. Those questions are also available for my students to do when they watch the video. This is how you use HTML5 video interactive content in Moodle externally, but I will show you internally how you can do it as well, because I have installed the same in Moodle for you. But before we do that, I want to show you how we create PowerPoint. We'll go to HTML5 website again, and I will click try out HP5 one more time to create an activity. After this, from the list, I will choose course presentation. Click course presentation, and it will be asking you to fill in the settings. I'm going to call it demo PowerPoint. Now you will notice that this screen is blank. You have to create the PowerPoint here, and you can add images, you can add text, all the things here. So let's see how I add the text. Once I click the text box, it shows me these settings, what I have to do. So I'm going to call it simple present tense. This is the title I want to give it to my PowerPoint. Click bold. I'm playing with the text size and color and shape. So I'm going to raise the font to 150%. I'm going to change the color to this strong red. All right, and I'm going to align it in the middle. After this, if you want, you can raise the opacity. That means the background and the front color should be clear or not. Okay. If you want, you can even display it as a button. It's up to you. I will click done because I've done the part that I wanted to do. Now you notice my simple present tense text that I wanted to enter to my PowerPoint. It's here right in the center because I wanted it in the center. But you can also drag it if you want, wherever you want to place. Now this is not the only information I want to add. I'm going to add a little bit of my credentials as well. And I'm going to do the same thing in the middle, but I'm going to raise the font size to maybe 125, and the color is maybe blue. After that, done, and the text is here. I drag it and I put it right under this. So the first slide is done. If you want, you can give it a name as well by clicking slides at the top. You see this arrow, click it, show title, always show, or auto hide. It's up to you, whichever one you want to choose. I'm going to show now. When I click show, you see it is showing me, and I have this pen that says you can edit. So I'm going to edit it. I'm going to call it front page. All right, and close. Oh, sorry, front page, and enter, and your title is added. But if you click edit again, then you will be editing one more time. Now I don't want to see this bar because this is blocking the view of my slides, so I'm going to close, always hide. Okay, so you see it's gone again, but it's here, right? You can always come back and see. Now this was my first slide, but I want to add one more slide. So you see here at the bottom, right underneath the slide, you have add new slide. You can clone the slide, means you can make a duplicate slide of this same. You can add the background. I'm going to play with the background. You can add an image if you want by clicking add, and I'm going to do the adding so that it happens. You can upload it straight from your computer. So I have added a video file, and you see the background is there. You can obviously again click the text and you can edit them so that they become visible, or you can drag them where it is visible. All right, so this is background and it's done. And if you notice here, it shows the background for the template, but I don't want the background for the template. The entire template should not look like this. I want it only for the first slide. So if that is what you want, then you click slide, this slide, and then you add the image if you want to add an image. So I'm going to add the same image again on this slide, and here only on this slide this image is put as a background. And after this, because I've finished working with the background, I will add one slide now. So you can click slide and you have a second slide, and it is again blank. So you need to add text. So just a simple text, and after that I can click done, and you see my text is here. You can drag and place it anywhere you want on the screen. If you want, you can add an image, and once you click add, it will ask you for the image you want to add. I'm going to choose just one, maybe. All right, so that the image is here. I click done, and the image is ready for me to show. I can drag it anywhere, drag a text right under, and this is how you can beautify your slides if you want to. Now, we haven't added a question, so I'm going to add a question. In order to add a question, you need to click add a new slide. That's the good idea, because then the question will not pop up on directly on this, but you have a separate dedicated slide where you can add the question. So I'm going to add, let's say, a multiple choice question. I'm going to title number 1, question, simple present tense. About. So helps you write about what? Number 1, the correct answer can be habits. If it is the correct answer, I'll click correct, and then tips and feedbacks if you want to add any message displayed. If the answer is selected, you can say well done, because that's the correct answer. If the answer is not selected, then your answer will be sorry, keep trying, or sorry, try again, something like that. Now, because it's a multiple choice question, you have to add one more option at least. Okay, I'm going to say speak about work, which it does not, obviously, so we cannot choose correct. And if the answer is chosen, what will be the answer? The answer will be sorry, keep trying, the feedback from my side. And if it is not selected, I will leave it blank because I've already given one answer at the top. I'm going to add one more option. You can songs, and this is also a wrong answer, so I'm going to say sorry, keep trying. And then I believe I've finished, so I'll just go to the behavioral part. You see behavioral setting here, choose check and retry. After this, you can click done. So my slide has a question, and after this you can drag it and enlarge the screen of your question, and then you can finish. So I believe my question and the slide is ready to save. I can click save here, but if you want, you can change the behavioral settings here. You see, you can activate active surface mode, which is going to help you go to the navigation and to the slides, and then hide the summary slide if you want to. It will not show you how many questions you have correctly written, answered or not. And these are the things you can do. You can also enable print button. Whatever you do, the students can print their responses if you choose this. I'm not going to choose it for now, just for demo. I'm going to click save, and my PowerPoint will be ready, and it will show right there. So my PowerPoint is ready, and you can see right here I have the question on the third slide, because first slide was the front page, second slide was where I have some lessons for them, and on the third slide I have the question for them. So if the student has to answer, they have to choose this. I'm going to click check, and here we are. Are you sure you want to finish? Yes, and the answer is correct. You see, this is an interactive PowerPoint which is ready for you to share on in Moodle. And if you notice, at the end we have a summary. Because we have only one question, the summary will show you the slide number 3 was a question, and the student has scored 1 out of 100%. Okay, now I'm going to click embed, because I'm going to add this in my Moodle course. I'm going to change the size of the video to 640 to 680 width, and then click this code, Control C or right click and copy. Go to Moodle, go to your course. Now I want to show you one feature which I think you already know, but I'm going to still show you. You see, earlier I created demo H5P page. I can create the page one more time from here by adding an activity or resource, but I will not do that. I will just click edit, you see here, and then create, click duplicate. So the same activity will be duplicated. This is saving me from playing with the settings one more time. So I'm going to click this pen and I'm going to change the title presentation. So you see HP demo 5 is ready, but the content inside this is not. So I'm going to go inside this, click edit and settings. We don't need to change the title or anything. We just need to change the page content. So I'm going to click this arrow to show the buttons, advanced buttons, and I'm going to click HTML, and I'm going to remove this whole code that was from the video. You can select all and delete. You can also click Control A and press delete in your from your keyboard. After this, right click and paste. So this is the new code and it's from the presentation. Click HTML back and the presentation will be loaded. You can see the presentation is here. You have in fact 4 slides total. Nothing to change here. Just click save and display. So your PowerPoint is ready, and this is an interactive one as well. You go to the second slide, you go to third slide, you check the answers, and it's done. So your students can do this on their own. You don't have to be physically there to assess what they are learning. They can learn and check their learning by themselves. Interactive presentation. All right, so I have like 3 minutes for you if you have any questions regarding these 2 activities. Any question, anybody, any doubts? All right, I believe there's no question because nobody's asking. So I'm going to show you the same thing, how you can create it within Moodle itself. You don't have to have an account in what you call in HP5 to create the activities there, but if you have an account, then you can link it in Moodle. So I'm going to show you now. This is the first time I'm doing it in Moodle because Moodle was inactive for a couple of days, but today it's active again, so we're doing it for the first time. Let's see. Just as usual, you have to click add an activity because it is an activity in Moodle. And drag your, scroll down to find HP5, interactive content. You see HP5, it's a black icon, and you have interactive content, and you have the descriptions here. You can read the descriptions to help you understand more what it can do. I'm going to click add, and this is going to open up the dialog box for settings. So if you notice, I have the same thing here. Now, one thing that I want to make sure you understand is, look at this setting. It's showing you get, but here it was showing you something else. In HP5, it was showing me details. You see details. That's because I have created the account with HP5, so I don't have to get this anymore. It's already in my account. But in Moodle, because we don't have a paid version with us for now, that's why you have to click to get it. So if you click get, it's going to take you somewhere. You see interactive video jumble, this is what I want, and you have this option to install. Click install, it's going to install. So you have to install this. Maybe whatever activity you create, you have to just click get and it's going to be installed. This is the first time we're doing it in Moodle, so you have to bear with me for a couple of seconds to allow this to install. I hope it gets installed. Yes, so interactive video successfully installed in my library, and I'm going to use this, and it's getting loaded one more time. Now you see it is telling me to take a tour. I don't need a tour right now because I've already selected video, so the interface is ready for me to add a video or create a video, interactive video right here. The steps are the same that I've shown before. The only things which are different is you are doing it in Moodle right now. If you want, you can add a description and you can show to your students if you want to by clicking this. And here you just give the title, add the video, and follow the same steps that I've shown you before. And after that, if you want to grade it, you can obviously grade it by choosing out of the maximum grade, whatever you want, maybe 20, 25, 30, is up to you. Otherwise, you can leave it and save. And once you do it, your activity will be created. I'm not doing the entire thing right now because I've shown you the steps. It's the same steps, and that's all. So any question, anybody, regarding this activity? All right, no questions, it's fine. Now I'm going to be, I have time, I'm going to do what you call quiz, which is a very important means for you to assess your students summatively. Means you get to grade your students and their work. And for this, just as usual, you have to simply click add an activity and resource, go all the way down to find quiz, and this is quiz. Then you click add. It will ask you for the name that you want to give to quiz. I can say quiz 1. It's up to you what you want to name it. You can name it quiz 2 or maybe anything that fits your requirement. After this, if you have any descriptions, you can give the descriptions and you can show the descriptions directly on the page. It's up to you. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. Timing is important, so choose the time, enable them by clicking enable, checkbox, and then when you want this to be available, I want this to be available from today, an hour earlier or maybe, okay, and then I want this to close maybe on 12th of July. It's up to you what time and what date you choose. The time limit is the important factor. Doesn't matter how lengthy the period is. No matter when they access this quiz, they only have this time. So they have 1 hour, or you can choose 1 week, you can choose minutes, you can choose seconds even, it's up to you. I'm going to check hours, so 1 hour, and after this, you don't need to do anything here. Grade is what you can do, how many attempts you want. Do you want your students to attempt it 1 time and finish, or do you want to give them more chances? Sometimes you can allow them to have more attempts, so you can choose between 1 to 10 or maybe unlimited. It's up to you. But for me, I'm going to, because this is a summative quiz, I'm going to leave it to 1, which is the default. And after this, you don't need to play with anything else because everything is by default set for you. However, if you want to protect your quiz, which is the important factor, because your students are not in the campus anymore, they are away, what you can do is you can click extra restriction on attempts, and you have to put a password here which you can tell your students to remember, and then put when it is required. For example, I can say quiz 1 key. This is my password, for instance. So I'm going to leave it at that. And then this password I will share with my students to let them access the quiz and let them do the quiz. So this way you are limiting the access and you are making sure that nobody does the quiz beforehand. And this is an important part here because some of our questions can be essay type questions if you want, longer versions of your answers, and you don't want them to copy and you want a declaration from them. You can choose this, student cognizance of plagiarism policy. You can say must be acknowledged before starting an attempt. So this is a declaration you get from your students if you want. Otherwise, for default, it is already not required. All right. So for some quizzes, we don't need it. And extra restriction is I've already enabled this. However, you have more options here. If you see enforced delay between 1 and 2nd attempts, we have chosen only 1 attempt. But if you do, let's say 3 attempts, then what is the period of time you want your students to wait before the 2nd attempt? You can do that by choosing enable here, and maybe I want days. So I want them to wait 2 days, and after 2 days they can do the same quiz again. If I want that, I can do it by enabling this. Otherwise, you can leave it as it is, because by default there's nothing. Okay. All right. Next, we go all the way down, and we have another way of restricting the students from doing the quiz or doing it at a different time or doing it beforehand, something like that. So what you do is you click restrict access and you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options to restrict your quiz. The difficulty level of accessing the quiz can be strengthened by choosing any one of this. So what you can do is maybe activity completion. If you choose this, then you can choose the activity you want your students to do first, and after that you want your students to do the quiz. So I'm choosing demo 5 HP video. I want them to watch this video first, and then they should be able to do this quiz. Before watching this, they can't, they cannot, because you see student must, it says must. Okay, you can also play with mustn't, it's up to you, but right now I want them to watch this and do it. If I save and display, then this restriction is on, and you remember I put the password, this password is on as well for the students to put and in order to access. However, you can also choose date. From the time, you have 2 dates actually, you have to apply 2 dates. One is from July 7 and add 1 more date, and that should be until. So this is going to give you a period when you during which you want your students to attempt the quiz. Right now I think period is the good idea because your students are very far away and at home they're accessing the quiz. Sometimes they don't have access to the internet, or maybe their device is not compatible enough. So duration is better, they will not lose, but they will always get, whenever they access, they will always get 1 hour time to do the exam. Okay, so this is another way of restricting. Third one, if you see grade, you want your students to get a certain grade before being able to do the quiz, and you can do so by actually what you call grade. So I'm going to show grammar exercise, and I want my students to get, let's say, greater than let's say 65%, and less than, if they get anything less than 65, they should not be able to do it. So 65 is my target. If you want, you can even go above and higher, it's up to you. Okay, so if you do it, then this student, I mean this activity is not accessible to the students unless they do grammar exercise and they score 75 to 65 or 65 to 75. This is one way of restricting as well. Next, you can also restrict by user profile, but this one is not feasible for us at this moment because all our students have these things common. Their email address is the same. So I don't think you can use a separate email address. And the first name, most of the students have a similar first name. So, and some of them have a different name. So if you don't have the same name, they will not be able to do this activity. However, this is an option which you can use if you have a diverse set of users. Last one is restriction set. This allows you to set a number of restriction, for example, a combination of all these, and you can actually create a very strong restriction. You see, I can add this one and I can add this one. You see, I'm creating more difficult to access quiz right now by adding more restrictions, and this is nested, means one inside another one. So if they meet one criteria, they have to meet the other one in order to get the quiz done. Now let's imagine our quiz is I'm going to remove the password for now, just to make sure that the quiz is easy to access. Save and display. Your quiz is ready, but notice one thing, no questions have been added yet. So you have the option right here to edit the quiz. You can click edit because you have to add questions. Click edit and then you are taken to this interface. You have maximum grade 100 and your quiz title is written right here. It also shows you when the quiz is going to be closed. Now you don't have anything to select because you don't have any questions here, but you can add questions. Now, all the questions are not the same. Sometimes we have different types of questions and different set of questions. So you can click here, you see edit heading. You can write a heading. Let's say I'm going to give them listening questions. So click this and enter, and then I have listening. So all the questions that I'm going to create here will be related to listening. This is the first page. And you will notice we don't have any other pages here. That's because we haven't created any questions as of yet. So let's add. On the right side, right under the shuffle, shuffle is one of the important features that you can utilize. This will help you shuffle the question within the set, and your students will not have the same questions when they share the computer side by side. They will have different set of questions. Click add and you will have three options. You can create a question right here inside the quiz, or you can, if you have created a question bank, you can get the question from the bank, or if you have a bank, then you can get a random question from the bank. So these two features will only work if you have a question bank already created. For now, if you remember, I haven't created any question bank as of yet, so I'm going to create a new question straight inside the quiz. You can choose whatever question you want to create from here. You can multiple, true, false, matching, short answer. Yesterday, somebody asked me about the calculated formula and then mathematical questions. Can we create those or not? You notice we can create it. You see calculated multiple choice question, calculated simple question, and so on. And we have pattern, we have random pattern, short answers. You have to try these on your own to be able to see the feasibility of your need. Then you have freehand drawing. This was something that I have added for College of Engineering, because they don't have a plugin at this moment for holding exams in Moodle. So I thought freehand might help, but it's up to you. If you find it useful, you can use it. For now, I'm going to create just one simple question. Let's say true, false question. Question number one, I'm going to just call it question number one, and the title is, what is the capital of Oman? This is my question. I hope you remember from yesterday that I wanted to change the color and size of this so that my students can read it without difficulty. Now, if I remove this, you see all the entire text is a little bigger in size, and you have what you call the color is blue. Default mark is 1. You can change it. It's up to you how much you want to add. General feedback is up to you. You can say well done, good job, something like that. I think the correct answer, because it's a true false question, I'm going to change this text. Muscat is the capital of Oman. So now my question is a true false question, and the answer is true. So I'm going to choose true. Correct answer is true. So I'm going to change this, and feedback for the response is, let's say, well done, you got it right, something like that. Wrong answer, sorry, need to try again. And after that, you can choose here multiple tries. It's by default 1, so there's no penalty, because if they miss it, it's going to be 0. So you just click save changes, and the question will be created. So question is created. As a teacher, you can always check if your answer, question is ready for publishing or not. So you can preview from here, click this sign, and you can see your answer is here. The question and answers are there. And you want to see if it is working correctly or not, so you have to check these. First, shown, choose them and change them to shown, update display actions. Now it is ready for you to check, so you check true and submit. If you click submit and finish, it's going to show you if the answer is right or wrong. So you see, well done, you got it right, the answer is true. So I got the feedback telling me that this question is ready and it's working quite well. There's no problem with this question. Now, there's one more thing I want to show you, is sometimes teachers need to give them instructions and they don't want to use the question itself. So how you can give them the instructions? You can give them the instructions by adding a new question. Go all the way down and choose from other, you have description. Description is something that allows you to give them instructions separately, because instruction is a separate set of what you call information, which is not a part of your question. So I'm going to say instruction, question name, it's a question, but I'm going to say instructions, and then I'm going to say read the questions carefully, then choose the correct alternative, something like this. And if you want to make it bold, you can make it bold. If you want, you can raise the size, and this is how you do it. You see, it's done, and just click save and your instruction is ready. Now you notice one thing here, we have got a separate page for the instruction, but I want this instruction to be above this question, because if you don't read the instructions, you should not be able to do the question well. So that's why you have the alternative here to move the position. And how you do it is, you see, bring the cursor on top of this cross sign, and it says move. Click and drag it above this, leave it there. And you see, you have the instructions first, and then you have the question. I'm not going to create more questions for you today. However, I've shown you that you have plenty of choices from here to choose from and try your questions. You can create them yourself, and I'm sure you will be finding them useful. Right now, I'm going to show you one more thing which was important for the mathematics teachers and physics teachers, if they can write mathematical equations or not. So this is a question we just created. Whenever you create any activity, resource, or a question, yesterday I tried to show you, but it did not code, so I'm going to show you now. Whenever you create an activity, resource, or a question, you will notice you have the text box, and this is the text box. This is the text box. So here you have the tools at the top, and this is by default this much, but you want to change this, you can click this arrow and it's going to show you all the other icons of the tools that you have. This is the equation editor. You see the calculator sign here, equation editor. You click this and this will load your equation editor. You can create the equations directly by dragging this, choosing this here, and arrows. You see, you have arrows, you have the symbols as well, and you have the equations as well, direct equations. So you click this, you see sum AB. This is what you can do. You can change this to number if you want, and then when you see the equation preview will show at the right underneath. And once your question is ready, obviously as a mathematics teacher you understand more than I do. Once your equation is ready, you can click save and your equation will be ready and put here in the dialog box. So for mathematics teachers and the physics teachers who use formula and equations, this is the good news for you, that you can do it in Moodle itself. So let us now preview our quiz. The questions are ready and I have just 1 mark, so 100 marks is not a proper thing. I'm going to change it to, let's say, 10 marks and click save. Doesn't matter what you have here, you can always play with this number. This is the maximum grade, and let's preview our quiz. So once the students click the quiz, they will see this screen and it will ask you to attempt the quiz. Now click it and it is going to ask for confirmation. Start it at this moment, click yes. And if you see, you have created only 2 questions. This is here, and you remember I set the time on the right side. The time is running, and this is the instructions we gave, and we wanted this to appear at the top, so you have it at the top, and right under that you have the question, and you can see the mark as well, how much. So choose true, finish attempt, and it will ask you to finish one more time, submit all and finish one more time, and your quiz is done, your exam is finished. So I took only 31 seconds, finished, and it's done. I'm not I'm not able to see my marks at this moment. That's because by default you don't want your students to see the score immediately after they finish. You sometimes need to play with the marks. So if that is okay, otherwise you can always go back and you can check the marks. Click quiz again, and you see I have finished this. Click result on the, and it will show you the results. Okay, again, the reason it's not showing is I did it as an administrator, so you see the attempt is 0. I'm not the student, so it's 0. But for your students, it's going to show you who has done it, okay, and how much the student has scored. Everything will be appearing here in the reports. All right, this is quiz. Anybody who has a question regarding quiz, please tell me. I would love to answer those questions. 3 minutes.
Mr. Shamim, I have a question,
Yes.
but it's not about it's not about the quiz. But you mentioned a while ago that Moodle is okay and working right now, because
Yes.
it seems that still it's under maintenance.
If you see, I'm working on Moodle right now. You see, I'm inside Moodle.
Since yesterday, it doesn't open.
I don't know, maybe you have to refresh the page, but for now you can see it right now. I'm inside Moodle. I'm working inside Moodle. Moodle maintenance is already taken off, so it's active and it's functioning
Is
since
it because you're the admin?
last night.
Is it because you're
Sorry?
the admin? That's why you cannot.
No, it's not
Maybe
because I'm
you're
admin.
the admin.
No, not even because I'm an admin. Look, I'm going to log in as a student as well, and I'm going to show you that it's working. You see, I'm now the student, and the student name is Aisha, and I'm inside Moodle right now. It's working. All right.
I already restarted my computer twice, and even my students can't access the website, the Moodle site. So I don't know.
Okay. Let me see. Let me see where you are. Let's see. Site home. All questions. See first.
Whenever
What's
I
your
open
section?
the site, it only shows a lot of coding, like
No, it
PHP,
won't.
this
It won't.
file,
Wait.
this part.
I'm going to check right away as you because I'm going to log in as you. What's your section, please?
13,
13.
13 there.
Yes, I got it. So you see 13 is active. I'm going to log in as you now. Aries, where is
Now,
Aries? So I'm now Aries, you see, and it is active. Everything is working.
Mr.
You
Shamim,
see?
Mr.
Yes.
Shamim, the thing is, you are just shifting user within Moodle, but if you try to log out your account, and I can give you my username
Look,
and
I'm
password.
logged out. Look, I'm logged out.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm logging in.
My students and I mean the rest of them, if not most of them, can't access the website. Mr. Shamim, I tried logging in, accessing Moodle by, I mean, directly from its website, and it didn't work. Also, I tried going through the UOB website. Still, it doesn't work. Sorry, Mr. Shamim, just taking this opportunity to ask you. Is
Hello, sir.
I think Mr. Samim is gone. I don't know why. There's no response from him.
am I the only one who can't access Moodle, or I mean, what about you guys?
What do you mean by that? You are the only one. I think the presentation has been paused.
No. I'm asking if you can access your Moodle. Have you tried accessing your Moodle?
I don't know about the right now because I'm just seeing the presentation at the moment, but in the morning I could do that.
Okay, thank you.
I think there is some problem because Mr. Shamim is not available. Might have some problem in the connection. Mr. Shamim is appeared to be offline, so there might be some problem. So we should, I think, we should end the session today.
Yeah, I think we can leave now. It's
Okay, this is one of the challenges of online learn.
because I'm trying
Yeah,
to
and
contact
it's,
him also, he's not responding.
Miss
So
Sandhya,
we can
it's
leave
better
Dr.
that
Sandhya, yeah? We can leave the
yeah,
program.
Dr. Sandhya, it's better that we should continue it tomorrow because even if he become online again,
Yeah, I think we can continue tomorrow. Already it is around 3:25 also.
okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
So officially we are ending the session. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. So all the remaining 24 participants who are still online, I request you on behalf of the Moodle committee or e-learning committee, you can log off from the session because it's officially ended. And thank you for joining. There may be some problem or connection error from the organizer side, so you can finish the session.